In 2023, I was lucky enough to get to check out the latest film by a good friend of mine, Jose Prendes, and that is The Exorcist. An excellent film that if you haven't checked it out, you really need to do so. So we're going to be talking to some fantastic people here today. We're going to talk to the leads of the film. We're going to be talking to Doug Bradley. We're going to be talking to Kayla Fields. And we're going to be talking to the great Harry Manfredini. So we got some icons here. And as I told Kayla before, it's an icon in the making. I'm good at this stuff. I can tell these things. Without further ado, let's invite them all in to the Call to Cinema.
Oh my gosh, Jose.
What? Oh, sorry. Get out of there, Bob Ross. What's he doing? And he vibrates. I don't know why, but he has Parkinson's.
Oh.
I still have my nose from last night. Wait a second.
Oh, keep that on. Yes. Keep that on. Aaron, thank you for having us, buddy.
Not a problem. I'm very glad. We seem to have a little bit of a glitch there. Hopefully we don't lose Doug.
He solved the puzzle. That's what happened.
Oh no, that is not a good thing. I got to see, and we'll welcome Denice here as well.
Hey!
Yeah.
Denice!
Hi.
I am. We'll get to that, but I'm a massive fan, and I'm also a soap opera fan, so we'll touch on that too.
Oh, I didn't know you were talking to. Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I know Ben Weston, the whole necktie killer thing. I know all of it.
Oh gosh, yeah, you went deep.
Yeah. I was almost an actor. Before we talk about anything else, there's one thing I have to ask you when it comes to this, Jose, about this film.
Okay.
Because it's the first thing I thought about. Corey Cunningham. Was that on purpose?
It was. Technically, his name is Corey Carpenter, but
Carpenter. Sorry, yeah.
But yes, actually, in the script it was Corey Cunningham, and then I got notes back. Don't call him Corey Cunningham because everyone's gonna bitch that it's whatever Halloween Ends. But it was when I was writing the script, it was at the time when Halloween Ends was blowing up, and everyone was mad at it. And I go, oh, I'm gonna call the little kid Corey Cunningham just for fun. So yeah, Corey was definitely a reference to that. Yes.
Excellent. See, I'm a massive fan. Like I'm that one guy that likes Halloween Ends. You know that.
You're the one guy. Yep, that's it.
But here's the thing. I like Christine too, and it's the same film. So there we go.
Same film. Yep.
Absolutely. So 2023 came out with The Exorcist. Previously to this, we've had Headless Horseman, and you've been doing movies since 2001, as in directing. I've had you on the channel before. I've been on your channel. I feel like we know each other pretty good by now. We're the Siskel and Ebert. Yeah. We totally disagree on movies, but we have a lot of fun.
Basically, yeah.
You guys
this one. I actually love this film, by the way. Just to let you know, this is your best movie.
Because I hate it. So I guess
well, that's it. Well, then this is going to go really different. But no, this is honestly something that really deserves to get some eyes on. There's some great stuff done here, and from the acting to the directing to the music, there's a lot to really love about this film. And you know what I really like about this film? It's a film that's called The Exorcist that I enjoy, as opposed to other films called The Exorcist that don't work so well. And I like the fact that you did your own thing. There's a twist 40 minutes. I won't give it away. 40 minutes into the film that I did not see coming. So congratulations, by the way, on doing that. That never happens to me.
Doug says he's here. He's down there somewhere.
Oh, there you. I feel so bad, and it was all on me. Hold on, now, guys. I will get you back in.
There we go. As soon as you went full screen, everything went down a drain pipe somewhere, and I've been sitting backstage for the last few minutes.
Have you really? It's stream. I have I'm going to blame
chatting to the stage-hands, waiting for my cue. So, anyway, what have I missed? Hello, Denice. You're here. I missed your entrance. That's terrible.
Hello. Hi. I got to have your entrance this time.
There you go.
And I'm going to let you talk in a second. I just have a couple questions for you. One, I love the entrance to this film. I absolutely adore Doug, I love your entrance to the film because you play Father Ryland, and this is a priest that's had things go wrong. And there's this sequence where the other guy, Raul, right, is there,
Mhm.
and he's saying, "I need your help," and you're kind of like, the best of me is gone, but you can have what's left. So I'm watching the movie. I pause it. I text my better half who's at work. I said, "Okay, I really love this line. The best of you can have the rest." So one, great delivery. Two, Jose, fantastic line, by the way.
Thank you.
Stuck with me. There's a few
Good.
lines that stuck with me in this one here. And we got to have a great cast. Kayla, you were absolutely fantastic.
Thank
Uh,
you.
And it really stood out because here we've seen Denice, who's been working in this industry like amazingly for years, doing some incredible stuff. Like I'm sure everybody watching here knows you from Full Moon and stuff like that. I'm a soap opera geek. I know you from Young the Restless. I know you from Days of Our Lives. I remember when Ben Weston shot you. She helped deliver a baby, and then the serial killer killed her.
Oh, no.
I've
Thanks, you guys.
been listening to Manfredini's work since before Friday 13th because I remember Manny's Orphans, which is where I think Ari Lehman came into to do because I think he was Ari Lehman, who was the first Jason, was also in Manny's Orphans, which was a soccer film that was done by Sean Cunningham.
Manny's Orphans.
Yeah. You guys are going to learn I'm a super movie geek and I've got weird knowledge for film.
It's
Jose knows that.
perfect. We
Strange.
feel we're in good hands.
That's pretty weird.
Yeah.
So how did this all come about for you guys? Like, I'm going to let you guys take center stage here.
Okay, I guess I'll start. You know, the asylum has now sort of become my filmmaking home. It's hard to be a consistent filmmaker. You know, most people make a movie every 3 years, kind of a thing. And you know, if you get in with the right outfit, you know, for the most part, you can be consistent with it. And they've allowed me to be so. To the point that after Headless Horseman wrapped, I was already working on this, you know, to a point. I knew they wanted to make an Exorcist movie, a tie-in movie to Believer, and I'd always wanted to make an Exorcist movie. And you know, I think with Headless Horseman, I'd made a real '90s kind of action movie. At least that was sort of my, you know, like it was I was going for a Ghost Rider kind of a Spawn vibe. And with this one, I said, well, maybe and I haven't actually mentioned this before, so this is exclusive to yours. I kind of want to make a 70s movie, and I know that if I tell them that, they're gonna say no, don't do that. But it slowly, over the various drafts, which weren't that many, I turned it into kind of a talkie drama with demons in the background. Of course, I still had to inject all the, you know, violence and stuff that they wanted and that I felt was necessary for the story. But ultimately, I set out to make a 70s horror movie as best as possible. And what we know about 70s horror movies, the ones that really last are the ones that are really, you know, the ones that take time with their characters, you know, developing the dialogue and not necessarily what is happening. Oh, we've got to solve the problem. There is a problem, but the focus is more about the people and the humanity and how they deal with it. And that's why Exorcists has stood the test of time. You know, Rosemary's Baby, all those kind of films, you know, that still resonate to this day. It's because the humanity is the focus and not necessarily the CGI, you know, booga booga ghost, you know, eating people's heads. And, you know, maybe I'll make that movie next, but for now, you know, I like I kind of want to take a step back and do kind of an old throwback, and to the point that they never really fought me on it. And as far as I know, I don't want to put words in their mouth. They consider this the best 6-day movie that they've made. So that's a feather in all of our caps.
Well, I 100% agree with that. And I think you're in your wheelhouse, as in like, this is this style really works. Kayla, you came into the movie as the as the lead on here, the female lead. But I know you from something else. I'm sure I did, and I had to look it up. Who's killing the cheerleader?
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, for those that don't know, Lifetime did this whole series of
Find this.
cheerleaders. I think it was Fear the Cheerleaders.
Fear the
series, right?
cheer, yeah.
Yeah, Fear the Cheer. And the last one, the last film in that series, that was you in that film, wasn't it? I'm pretty
It
sure.
was, yeah.
I'm a sucker for those type.
That one was a lot of fun. It was
Jesus, I'm checking my credits to see what's going to come falling out of the closet here. Be prepared.
it's not what you're gonna expect, Doug.
I'm a deep cut person.
How deep he's
Because
gone.
I've talked to you about before. You're not going to remember this, Doug, but I've talked to you before about Hellraiser, and it was just after, I think it was just after the, let's just say, Hellraiser kind of really went down. You'd moved away from it. You made the right decision. Let's just put it that way.
Well,
Made-
it's not a decision that I made. I mean, I never walked away from it. I mean, what happened after Hellworld was that Dimension stopped making Hellraiser films, so that was decision made at that point. And 8 years went by before Hellraiser Revelation came along. I did turn that down. I believe I made the right decision.
Yeah, I was talking to you in Montreal, and I said, you're not doing this one, and he said, and you looked at me and like, do you think I should have done this one? I'm like, no, I think you did okay. No,
There were a lot of I won't take time up talking about it, but there were a lot of elements in relation to the reasons why Resurrection was being made and the reasons why I said no. But, and ditto Revelation. And the remake that isn't a remake, I knew I was never going to be part of. Though they did offer me a cameo, but I decided no. Move on.
now you've been friends with Clive Barker for a long time, so you guys, you
Since the late 1960s at high school in Liverpool. Yes.
you obviously popped up a lot of Clive Barker work. I'm also a big fan of The Bill and shows like that. So I know that you've like every actor in the UK, you've done The Bill, you've done Inspector Morse.
Sorry. Yes. Yeah, I did do Inspector Morse with Sir John Gielgud, so that's okay. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, they're fantastic. And you know what? You were with, when you were doing those Hellraiser sequels, future Superman Henry Cavill was on the on the
Yes.
set of one of those.
In Inferno, right? Yes. Part 5.
Oh
yes.
man, see, I thought you were gonna say that you found a cheerleader movie that Doug made. I don't get that shit on 4K. Holy shit!
I'm an Anglophile, so I watch a whole ton of like
I
this. I
killed
watched The
cheerleaders.
Bill like crazy. I used to watch Inspector Morse to the end. Lewis, I watched that. So that's there's the stuff that I know. Now, when it comes to Denice, obviously I mentioned the Young and the Restless. I mentioned Days of Our Lives. Days of Our Lives stood out to me because I was watching at that time period, and I'm a massive fan of serial killer storylines.
Serial killer storylines.
So when your character pretty much gets kidnapped to to deliver a baby, and then gets shot and killed by the killer, I'm watching at that point. So I know this. I know this stuff. Now, initially though,
I was gonna say, I did a home birth to my own daughter, and the casting director used to cast for Young and Restless when I was on that for 2 years, and she knew I had a home birth. And so when several years later they needed this character, she like literally put out a personal text for me to do an audition. She sent me the script, and she said, in my eyes, you've done it. I know half of the, Kevin Spiritus. Do you know Kevin Spiritus?
yeah,
I do.
big fan, and I remember
Yes.
from back. It looked so much like Christopher Reeve back in the day when he was.
Yes. So he was
He
there in
still
my
does.
bed. He was there in my bedroom when I delivered my daughter. And so was Michelle Stafford, who plays Phyllis on The Young and Restless, was also there in my bedroom when I delivered my daughter. And so was Nancy Cartwright, the
Lord.
voice of Bart Simpson. I had
Jesus
15
Christ.
people
Were
in
you
my
selling
bedroom.
tickets?
Doug, if I were to have a baby now, I'd probably do Facebook Live with a little blurring.
Holy.
They all were so
Okay.
helpful. It was the most loving. You know, you got to know your audience. Obviously, this mate is not fully the audience. So, but so she knew of that, and hence it was a shoo-in.
That is one. That's an awesome. I'm a massive Michelle Stafford fan too, and big crush from when I was younger, by the way.
Oh heck!
Just saying. Now, I forgot what I was going to say. You
I
know,
know,
because I got a bit starstruck with your birth.
The birth thing.
I'm so sorry.
That's not something I thought I was going to say ever. Like somebody's birth got me starstruck.
Denice, was Nancy doing the voice during the birth? Like, oh man.
Yes, she actually said, "Don't have a cow, man."
Oh man, that's awesome.
And I have it on video.
That's insane. God. I love it.
I'll send you a clip. It's very fun. Anyway. So yes. So and it was around that time. It was, I think, just before the soap opera or just after the soap opera. What year did you film Monster Man, Jose?
It was 2001, something like that.
Okay, yeah, because I was on the soap from 2000 to 2002. It might have been right in the middle of it that I went and shot with his first film out of college, high school, elementary school. I don't know. You were
elementary school. Yep.
You were just out of the womb.
Yeah. He had a hall pass, so we had to work fast.
Yeah, really fast. Yeah, I was like, I got to pee really bad, and I had a camera with me, and luckily it worked out.
Look at you now.
Right, look at me now. I can pee whenever I want.
Exactly.
Not on an asylum movie, you can't.
No, that's true.
You have limited time to pee.
We all had diapers.
Brought to you by Depends.
No, Harry, you've been working with Jose since Headless Horseman, right? Was the first one you guys worked on together. You collaborated on.
That's the first one.
Now you've been in the industry for a long time. I know that you score a lot of films. You do jazz work, right? You're massive with when it comes to jazz pianists as well.
I was a jazz saxophonist.
Oh.
Piano is like, the high notes are at one end, the low notes at the other. That's easy. They don't mix them up. But right now I'm kind of a saxophone owner. I still try to play, but I used to play. I was pretty good.
I can honestly say that I suck at
How
music.
many jazz saxophones can you mention? Who are, they're hanging in there, having a good time, but hard to make a living.
It's I mean, I've seen so much heard, I guess, so much of your work over the years in different films. And there's a movie, and I call this my Scooby-Doo movie. And you're probably not even gonna remember this one, but it was called Zombie on a Massacre.
I'm looking around here. I thought I had some pom-poms or something. I could have done
You know what, guys? I was a cheerleader.
I was too.
That's true.
I was too. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I'm not. English.
What is cheerleading?
That's right.
You can cheer. What do they say when they cheer in England? It must be like some wonderful words that we don't even. What's the word for rah? Like
Yelling at soccer games.
Raw.
Yes, rah. Like
get the fuck in.
Yeah.
Good show.
I'm
Good show.
born and raised as a Liverpool FC fan.
He's
in the marrow of my bones, so I won't repeat the stuff I've heard on the carpet. But yes, we're a little more raw meat than
there's like
anodyne American chanting. Defense.
Isn't there something called sticky wicket and a wicket googly. No.
The googly is the Chinaman bowled to the left-hander. You've moved on to cricket now,
Yes.
which is only going to confuse everybody.
Yeah.
He's got a wicket googly.
A wicket googly, not to be confused with the wicket, which is what cricket is played on. But I've tried often with Americans, but it's hard to get past. So, Doug,
I'm trying to find out what this movie
do
is.
I have this right? You guys play for like 5 days,
Right? Yeah,
and nobody wins.
Cricket games go on forever.
Well, not forever. No, they
Forever.
go on. Well, test matches last for 5 days, but sometimes they're over in 2 or 3 days.
Right.
Because as soon as one side has been bowled out twice, the game is over. But there are also limited versions. The one-day international World Cup is taking place in Pakistan as we speak. I was watching it this morning. New Zealand. It wasn't New Zealand. It was India versus Afghanistan. And that's 50 overs a side, and it all happens in 1 day.
Wow.
And
and somebody always wins. There is
Brought to you by ESPN.
there is no draw in the limited overs, and there's a further limited overs version, which is 20 overs a side, which is over even quicker. How about that? It's a magnificent game.
No idea.
Cricket.
What
It is a
talking about.
wonderful, wonderful game. George Orwell said that the English invented cricket because otherwise they have no understanding of eternity.
I have never played cricket. I found out about like what we call soccer in North America, which they call football everywhere else in the world. So my better half, she's a massive fan of like the World Cup, and I'm in Marrakesh. We're getting it here in Morocco this year. We're getting the next World Cup. We're one of 3 countries that are hosting it, which is super stoked on that. And I grew up in Canada, so I grew up knowing hockey, where basically I was put on some skates when I was young, before I could skate, and they were like, "Okay, get out there on the ice." I'm like, "But you haven't taught me how to stop yet." And I didn't. I just skated and prayed to God that I would eventually stop, and I did. Snowbank on the other side. But
meanwhile, back at the Exorcists,
we've been everywhere, right? We've been at soap operas, births.
You were going to ask me about some movie that was going to make.
Yes, actually, I just it's just this like it's literally Scooby Doo. It's called Zombie Island Massacre. Remember it? And it's like there's no zombies. Like there's no zombies. It's like it literally. So it's like I'm like
okay.
I'll
give you 2 fast stories, and you both love these. You'll all love these. I was living in New York. I was moving to LA, and I needed $5,000 to move. And somebody came to me with this movie called Zombie Island Massacre. And I said, "Well, what does it pay?" It said $5,000. I said, "You're on. I'm doing it." So I did it. And people always talk about it. I don't know why. But I think one of the funniest things, and you'll all love this, it's a long story. There was a woman named Rita Jenrette. Her husband was a politician. It was a big to-do, and they had a divorce, and she was in Playboy, and now she married some Italian prince, and she lives in Italy, and there's no money, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she was in this movie, and I went to the producer. I said, you had this Playboy girl in a movie, and there are no breasts. What kind of Zombie Island Massacre is this without a breast?
Stupid.
She goes, you think we should do that? I said, do whatever you want, but I mean, I think she's already been in Playboy. Come on. So he goes to reshoot the picture of this scene. He devises the scene. What's sad about it is Rita has put on maybe 20 pounds and cut her hair. Okay. So in this scene, I'm sure you're going to run off and look at this now. She gets up in the morning and walks to the bathroom. She steps in the bathroom, gains 20 pounds, and cuts her hair. Takes a shower, gets out of the shower, drives herself off, goes back into the living room, loses 20 pounds, and hair grows.
That's my next shower.
Now
Oh my gosh.
Now that, my friend, is filmmaking.
That's good.
Movie magic.
I did
No,
get
I'm glad I mentioned it, actually.
enough about Zombie
Well,
Island.
hopefully her breasts were so beautiful that you didn't even look at her
No.
midriff or her head.
Nobody noticed.
I mean, we were talking last night about the script supervisor making sure that the cigarette was in the right hand and the glass was going up and down, and this is like just completely different. Anyway, all right, enough of that. I lost my nose. What's my nose? All right.
So when it comes to
This movie is spectacular. I can't tell you. I don't know if there's people. People should see this movie because it's nothing short of amazing. Everybody in this movie, every actor, first-rate performance. This crazy guy who's the director wrote a great story. I just got everything. I mean, I'm still astounded every time I look at it. That's how good this movie is.
there you
So,
go, man, and it's true. I mean, like,
Well, I hate to.
I agree.
Well,
Jose, you're your harshest critic, right?
I absolutely am. I'll tell you what. The first time, and I've said this before, the first time I saw it all put together, I did not know how to feel about it. And I've never felt that way about a movie where because it's your baby, so you're always you're with it every day. The actors are on set, but the director's at the monitor, so I'm always watching a screen. I'm always looking at it. I'm like, okay, well, I don't like this thing. Let's tweak that. I'm gonna move this way, and you're always just seeing a screen. So when it's all put together, and I just sat back and like I don't know how to feel. It is the weirdest feeling. I've never had that before, where it felt like alien to me, and I didn't know if I liked it or not, and it was just one of the things where it was.
And then you re-edited it in the right order. And
yeah, I think that helps.
Certainly
It was just kind of like having to refine it, having to make not so much peace with it, but it's very different from what when you shoot it, when you've written it, and then when it's all put together in a way. And also the editor, kind of the first person who cut it, I wasn't there, so he was just assembling pieces, and I think that threw it off a little bit. But the heart of the movie was always there, but my feelings toward it always have changed from the first time I watched it. But that's because I'm the closest person to the material, and it's hard to. Maybe it's just because I didn't want it to be over. I didn't want it to be like that's the final thing, because I really like working with these people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Would
that
you
was
do
that
an
was
editor's
tough.
cut? Would you do an editor's cut?
Well, yeah. I mean, there is a director's cut that
That's what I meant.
exists.
I'm sorry. I meant
Yeah. No, it's fine. There is one that exists, but it was cut for time. But I mean, the version that exists right now, I think is perfectly, succinct, and it tells. I don't think a movie should be long. You don't need a 2-hour movie.
So you wouldn't do anything different if they said, all right, now you can do whatever you want. It could be 2 hours, go for it.
No, because I don't have enough footage for 2 hours. The longest cut was 92 minutes was the longest cut. So, I mean, and the stuff that was trimmed, there's one thing I would fix, but it's a story for another time. But the stuff that was trimmed for a reason, and I'm perfectly fine with nobody necessarily seeing that.
That's great.
I'm a big proponent of like films actually being edited because I feel that so many movies now are so overblown in like length and time that it feels like the whole aspect, the whole like of editing, it seems to be lost. Like nothing can be left out, and sometimes Actually, a lot of times that kind of it bothers me because my better half's a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and I got to sit down and watch extended editions of Lord of the Rings. That's my weekend gone, because there's no breathing in between those, man. Now, Kayla, because I wanted to get back to you. So I've seen two things that you've worked on. I don't know if you can talk about anything that you're working on, or you gotta, or it's one of those things where you got to keep mum.
No, actually, with the strike going on and everything, I don't have anything on the books as of right now, so that's cool, I guess. But this year I've had this one come out, The Exorcist. Oh, I just did something crazy. I had another Lifetime film come out at the beginning of the year, like, I guess, and then 2 other Asylum films as well. So it's been a good year for me in that aspect and regard, but I'm excited for the strike to wrap up and hopefully do some more fun stuff.
Hopefully soon, with the writer's strike gone now, like hopefully the SAG-AFTRA strike is gonna make its way. It was scary. Somebody like just looking on. I wanted to become an actor back in the day, when I had less wrinkles and I was much younger, and hair.
Doesn't matter. None of that matters.
But I actually would like to do some filmmaking in the future.
You should,
especially here where I've now moved to Morocco, and there's a festival here, and I've been able to meet up with some people, which has been fantastic.
Production value, I'm sure, is out there.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I keep telling Jose, and he knows he has an open invitation to come and film here.
How many extra rooms do you have?
I have an extra house. I'm not joking.
We'll be there.
Knows this. Yeah, no, so the first time I came here, quick story, I'll make it really quick. I came with my better half. It was my first time in Morocco. I knew nothing but the place. And I was like, okay, if it's modest or anything like that, just, you be respectful, meet the family, that type of stuff. And so the driver comes and picks us up. And that should have been a hint. But it wasn't. So we drive on through. We go from Casablanca to right into Marrakesh, and we follow right on. We go to this path, and there's this massive gate, this massive iron gate. And there's a guy there to open up the gates, and we drive in, and it turns out her family has this huge olive farm with olive trees and orange trees and lemon trees and stuff. And the way the houses are done here, they're really they're big. So basically, when we had our room, it was we had the bedroom and the bathroom and kind of a living area, like a sitting area type thing too. But all the rooms are like that. So that was my introduction to Morocco.
Wow.
Here's an idea for a movie for you, since you're there. You center this movie around this character who has a cafe, and there's sort of like a war brewing, and then you see there could be some sort of thing with the Interpol and things like that.
Right, and the cafe's named after him. What's a good name? Like a catchy
Dick's
Cafe. If you start with that,
Nick,
and you can be the musician in it. You can play saxophone, piano.
Play it, Harry. You know what I want to hear.
Play it again, Harry.
I've got nothing on. I'm sorry, I can't play it.
Together.
Of all the vodka joints in all the towns in all the world.
I don't know. It seems a bit far-fetched, but it just might work.
It could be Nick's Deli instead of Rick's Cafe. Make it Nick's Deli.
Nick's Deli.
There you go.
Well,
Dick's Deli.
when we first started coming here, the
too.
absolute first thing I did was look in Casablanca, see if there's a Rick's. Because if there's not, I was going to do it.
It could be a deli in the Middle East,
Hey, we'll always have Paris.
Oh,
Right.
no.
Not a Paris. That's like.
Real quick,
we'll always have parrots.
I know we're going to lose Kayla fairly soon, so I wanted to ask her a question because she's not going to be able to do a lot of these. Unfortunately, her schedule is very busy. And I did promise her agent that we would mention that this was a non-union film, and so wanted to get that out there. But Kayla does something in the movie which I was very impressed with. First of all, she came to the movie through an audition tape. I got like 50 tapes for Olivia Beckett, and I scrambled through them. She's the only one whose audition felt genuine and human, and like she was reading the lines, like it was her words, like it was her speaking. She wasn't just regurgitating medical procedures and shit like that. And I liked that she was warm and she was inviting. And that sounds weird, but you know what I mean. As the character. And that fit the character. That's exactly what I wanted. I wanted somebody that you could really, root for. And even though she was the skeptic, she was the audience, and she nailed it. And in the script, I wanted to introduce the character doing sign language. I don't know sign language, but I thought we'll figure it out at the day, or we'll do some practicing. I'll send her some YouTube videos, and she went and she did this research on her own. I hope we got it at least partially correct. Kayla, can you speak about how you went about sort of figuring all that out?
But do it in sign language.
Yes, please.
No, it was a lot. I felt like I fell down YouTube rabbit holes. I mean, I would go find each word and learn how to sign the word, and then also like type out a sentence. And if I couldn't find the correct sentence, I'd find something similar enough to make sure I was doing it correctly. Because the last thing I wanted, and who knows if this would ever happen, but for someone who can sign to be like, this bitch, what is she doing? Like, this is so bad. So I was like, I'm just going to do my best in the time we have. And I don't know. I watched it at the premiere and I was like, damn, I look pretty good doing it.
Impressed the hell out of me. Yeah, you'd be in danger of someone translating what you were actually saying to the kids.
Watch it be something really bad.
I believed it.
It was so impressive.
Yeah. Thank you.
It was beautiful.
Thank you.
It was.
And that's
been doing it all your life.
It's something that you don't see in a lot of actors, especially young actors. Kayla's old, so I'm not talking about her, but in general, no, I'm kidding. She's young. She's young enough. Anyway, you see it in
Jesus Christ.
Actors who are just starting out,
old enough and yet young enough.
Exactly. They won't go above and beyond just learning the lines. And I think, and I was impressed that she would do that. We shot this movie in 6 days, and we had very little money, and we were pressed for time, and we did as much planning and meeting as we could to figure out the characters and the lines. But to go above and beyond like that, if she had said, I'm sorry, I didn't have time to figure it out, I said, all right, no, I'm not going to, don't worry. We'll just scrap it. But the fact that she went above and beyond, incredibly impressive. And I highly recommend her to anybody who's looking for a cheerleader. She's your gal.
Thanks, Jose.
And I slept in a monastery for 4 days because the last thing I wanted was some nun to go, hey, that bitch, she's not really a nun.
That's true. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, she lived in a monastery. She only ate bread and water. It was pretty great.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
So that was craft services on this film was bread and water. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
That's it.
Holy water.
The food was good.
The blood of Christ. Holy water, the blood of Christ.
Really good bread. Yeah.
We had wine if we were lucky, and if we acted right. Jose gave us some
we all
wine
sat at a
in little
table
cups
with our arms. We had our arms spread out at a table.
Yeah.
If we ran out of wine, Jose turned the water into wine for us.
Yes.
Yeah, I just I got you, dude. And then I help people out. That's how.
And then you walked on the water there. Doug,
Yeah,
that
was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. We should have filmed that. Damn it.
Missed opportunity.
Just take our word for it, Aaron. It happened. It was great.
I totally believe you, Al.
The Exorcist 2, he walks on water.
There's a neat thing. Like all the actors, just seem to work so well together in this movie. And so, because you're getting these people, because it is the Exorcist, and there's like Exorcists, you're getting these people together. So, because you've got like you got Father Ryland played by Doug Bradley, you've got Kayla, and you have Kate Hodge from well, I know from TCM 3, because I'm a massive Texas Chainsaw fan. Obviously, I am. Look at me, of course I am. So you got like the two, you got the Reverend, you got the priest, you got the two priests, because we also get the priest, Father Raphael, Father Raoul,
Raoul.
and we got the doctor, and it's just like it's neat because I love the concept of like they're all going together to do this, to take on this demon. I'm trying to not give away things. I'm because
please
there's some
don't.
It's
nice
tough.
little twists and stuff.
It's very tough to talk about it and not talk about it.
It's very hard.
It
We've
is.
failed twice.
Right. That's why I talk
Nobody
about my home
mentioned.
birth.
Nobody mentioned contact lenses. That's when we
No.
get into trouble.
That
Yeah.
freaked me out, by the way.
But it's in the trailer. We're okay. It's in the trailer.
Okay.
And you had Michelle Bauer doing the voice of Lamech, right? The demon.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Which is interesting because obviously, Scream Queen has been in the business for like a long time, and I hate to say just use the word Scream Queen because though I know people tend to like it, there's so much more than that when it comes to the stuff that you do. Like Denice, obviously, I almost got to talk to you earlier. When I was young, I was starting up a comic book shop, and because like I'm a super geek. Look behind me. Look, there's like gold pictures of the painting of the Golden
Yeah.
Girls as superheroes.
Oh my gosh.
That was
Are you Canadian?
I'm Canadian, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm
Carry
sure
on.
the accent gives that away. But anyway, so I was I was talking to people, and one of the places that I had to contact was Full Moon Productions. Because at the time there was cards that were being done and they were kind of diving into the comic aspect of it, and I wanted to go into that, and I spoke to somebody in the office there, and I'm not quite sure who it was at the time, but I was really surprised because I was at a nice long conversation, and 2 days later I found out I wasn't going to start my comic shop, and I was so disappointed. Because I was a massive fan of of that stuff, and I'd seen you obviously in the subspecies films, and I'd of course as a burgeoning actor. Here's the thing, I'm going to be honest. I told Jose this. Nobody else knows this, but Jose, I was an actor that didn't want to be in movies. I was so because movies are so fractured, and I'm a stage guy. I love stage. So for me, like stage or like soap opera, because it gives you that feel, a stage. And I need that adrenaline rush. I need to know I'm doing good. I need somebody cheering me on. So I'm so blown away when it comes to like just seeing how things are nowadays, seeing how like the construction, being able to talk to guys like Jose and to talk to you guys here. It's just it's a bit mind blowing. It's a bit overwhelming.
Well, if you get a chance to be on one of Jose's films, you will get the adrenaline rush from your fragmented scene from the crew and from the cast, because it's in lieu of having a live audience, you have your whole teammates, you have the cast and the crew, and when they're led by someone as enthusiastic as Jose, it just trickles down, and so you get that love, you get that like, I didn't no, you fucking nailed it. There wasn't a lot of it because we had to move. But like every, all film actors, like we love that immediate rush. And it's just, it's in smaller little sections, but even just the sound guy coming over, and saying, that was really great. You scared me with that scream. Thank you. That's it. It's just like, if that little camaraderie, you get it on a film set. So
See, I was too young, Denice, and inexperienced to know that. But I absolutely adore this film. Yeah, I was not. Did you guys realize you were going to make the best of the Exorcist films that came out this year? Because that's the way it happened.
Well,
That's
thank you for saying
exciting.
so.
Yeah, thank you.
Well,
I'm probably not the
no,
only one thinking that right now either.
I'll go back partly to the top of what you were saying right at the outset, Aaron, and also pick up on what Jose was saying. I sort of think you ought to stop talking about the 70s bit, Jose, because it doesn't feel like a throwback movie in any way.
Oh, okay.
Me, because the fact is, for me, you've just written an outstanding script. It doesn't feel to me as though it's anything to do with the 1970s.
Yeah. No,
And that
it's not necessarily
scene at the
set in the
top that you
70s.
instanced, Darren, in the graveyard, I said this to you after we shot it. And I know I've said it before, but it was reading that scene that took me, when I was wondering whether I was going to do this, beyond thinking maybe this was just going to be a tick the boxes exorcism movie, to thinking, I think there's something else going on here, because that opening scene between me and Father Raoul could be over in a heartbeat. It's a purely functional scene. Let's get Father Ryland out of retirement, okay? But it isn't. And the as we mentioned before, and you picked up, Aaron, the humanity that you bring out in that, which you played out over, I think, about 3 pages of dialogue. It's just a very well written scene, and you produced an outstanding script. I didn't think the movie was going to look as good as it does. I will be absolutely honest. I really did not. I didn't think it was possible. And I've said before, it doesn't. 6 days, which we established, I think, in our discussion yesterday, was actually 5.5 days. It looks as though you've taken a lot of time, a lot of care, and a lot of attention from shot to shot. It doesn't look rushed in any way, shape, or form. No. But it's the script and the fact that every character has their moment in the sun, and it's entirely an ensemble priest, and nobody is a cipher. Nobody in the movie. You've got Dr. Beckett, who's the functionary. What's her function? Oh, she's the skeptic. She's the skeptical psychologist. But the way that you've written for Olivia raises her above that level of just being a function in the movie. You've let every character breathe.
Yeah. I'm
going to have one of these press things that we do where I'm going to do nothing but say nasty things about you, because I'm getting bored with complimenting you.
I enjoy it quite a bit.
I'm sure you do.
No, but
you deserve all of it. It's true.
I appreciate that. Well, you have to take care with it, because you don't have a lot of time, and at the end of the day, you want to have something you're proud of.
But can I? Sorry, just to interrupt, Jose. You don't have to, because you're working for Asylum, and if you don't care, they don't care. They're not going to come back to you and say, "Hey, Jose, you know what? This script is okay, but I think you could amplify the characters more, put more dialogue in it." I don't think they would come back and say that to you. You don't have to care, but you do.
Yeah. I guess that's true. And I'm not to disparage any other filmmakers in the Asylum stable, but caring is a big part of it, and everything, like even working with Harry, like he's one of the first people I get in touch with. Like, hey, here's some things that when I'm writing the script, this is what I'm listening to, and I send him pieces, and then he starts kind of like working on it. We're working on something that'll hopefully be shooting in December, and I've already put a couple of earworms in his ear, and he's already bought soundtracks, which well, we'll mention it. We can mention it because I'm not going to really say what the movie's about, but I'm working on my version of Monster Squad, and Harry went out and bought the soundtrack, and he's like working on it. It's like, it's insane. But I think it's important for a young filmmaker to care, because it's so rare it's so hard to make a movie. It's so rare to get a chance to make a movie, to get a whole bunch of people to agree to be in this one location for you to make believe. It's like having all your little toys together, and okay, now we can finally play a game. But so if you don't give a shit, nobody else will. And I think luckily the rest of the cast was up to the challenge of making a very difficult movie in a difficult amount of time. And I'm incredibly happy with the movie, and it's one that I've done probably the most press for, because I'm very proud of the result, and I just want people to give it a chance. Ultimately,
I think the guys at Asylum, once they saw this picture, started to care a whole lot more. Like, wow, we have something here. This is not a widget. This is an actual film. It's real characters, real people. There's no one. There are no cardboard characters in this movie. Everybody has a thickness to their character and a reason to be there. And the dialogue is great. And it's so good on so many levels for such a short amount of time. I still don't know how you did it. I really want to come to the set someday just to see how this happens, because I just don't know how you did it.
We'd have to kill
Next
you
one.
then.
Oh, we had a cheerleader. That's right. I forgot.
Oh, right. You can be the cheerleader, Harry. I don't know any others, so.
I wasn't the cheerleader. I'll tell you that right now.
Spoilers.
You'll learn real fast if you watch the movie.
Oh, I'm not watching it now.
I'm sending it to you, Doug. I'm going to email it to you.
She'll know if
Everything
you
that one
open
we
the
mentioned,
link
right?
or not.
You all brought your A game to this film, 100%. When it came to every single one of you guys brought your A game, and it truly does show. And I, as a self card carrying geek, Beckett, Quantum Leap. Did you think Quantum Leap? Just wondering.
Oh yeah.
How did I not pick up on that?
No, in my head canon, she's related to Sam Beckett. Absolutely, she's a distant. Actually, well, she might even. I mean, I forget when he leaps, the year that he leapt, but so she may be like Olivia Beckett might be like his grandma or something. Who knows? But she's related to him in my mind.
That's a crossover coming.
I am.
Yeah, and Kayla knows. She's a geek, so she knows. When I told her, Quantum Leap, she got it, and I'm like, oh, cool, okay.
I grew up on Quantum Leap. I loved that show. It's so good.
Ugh, that finale still kills me. Ugh, heartbreaking. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm definitely nominating you, Kayla, for best performance by an actress with a frying pan.
Thanks. I'll gladly take that.
I roared laughing. I'd completely forgotten about it.
I did too when I picked it up.
Appeared with the frying pan.
All the comforts of home.
My husband looked at me and he was like, why is there a frying pan? I was like, don't ask questions. Just watch the movie. Like,
what the fuck is his problem?
Watching that frying pan. He's surprised.
I
don't know when a frying pan will come in useful.
I like to throw in little things when we're in the development process, because it's read by the producers and the development people. So I put the frying pan in as a joke. You see, they're probably going to ask me to cut it out, and they never did. I'm like, all right, we're going to commit to the frying pan.
It was like
we're doing a
bargaining tool.
I was like, okay, I'll get rid of the I'll get rid of the frying pan, but let me keep.
But let me keep the Latin. Let me keep the Latin, right? And they never argued about the frying pan, so you had to lose the Latin. Oh.
So yeah.
On that note, I am sad to say I have to get out of here.
It has been a pleasure.
Bye.
Oh, okay. It has been, Aaron, thank you so much. This was lovely.
Sorry,
So
everything
good to
everything
see
keep
Kayla. Have a
the feed
great rest
keeps
of your
going to
night.
hell at my end.
I really look
Yes,
forward to seeing what
do.
comes next, and I'm
And
sure
then-
there's a lot of like amazing stuff coming up. So actor strike, get over so you guys can start.
So we can get back to work.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
And I
This
will
was
I will
awesome.
never fry sausages again without thinking of you.
Thank you, Doug. That means a lot. All right. Y'all enjoy the rest of your time, and I'll
Bye,
see all of
Kayla.
you soon. All right.
And you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye bye.
She was so difficult to work with. Now that she's gone, let's really talk about her because she was a diva.
An eye roll.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Diva eye roll.
Every day,
Oh,
every
God.
day.
I'm
Always
so
the
glad of you
hair,
guys.
the
I'll be honest with
makeup,
you.
the hair,
Only
the
have a couple
makeup.
minutes before I have to unfortunately go. But I would, and I think Jose knows why. I go outside every night and I feed the street cats on our street, and I'm a massive cat fanatic. uh, but you know what you did? One, the white eye, those lenses, those freak me out. So thanks for the nightmares. Thank you, Denise, for freaking me out. They do work. They do. Those got to be uncomfortable though. Those things have to be
Don't
uncomfortable.
mention the contact lenses.
No, I mean you see me in the trailer for a moment, a brief moment, and so I will just say to you, if I wear contacts sometimes, and so they weren't uncomfortable. They're huge. They take a little bit of time to get them in. There are two types. There is a type that you can see a fog visually. And those you could like eat dinner in and you can walk around. And then there's ones that it's completely blacked out. And those you have to be guided around, and it does create a whole different level of a performance because you see nothing, but you think you're asleep, but you're fully awake. You can move, but everything is black. So I actually I asked my whoever was next to me, are my eyes open? Because you don't feel that they're open. You feel they're closed, but they're open. Yeah. So, but that just knowing, you'd have to, you look at another person who has them on and you're like, wow, is that what it looks like? And it kind of fuels you a bit, it's like putting on like Radu costume makeup, when you've got something so not human, it kind of affords you a new, a license to perform in other ways. Anyway, we'll just keep Sister Carolyn as sweet as she is. Leave it at that.
That's right. You work with General Hospital's Anders Hove. And again, obviously, soap opera. I'm a massive fan of Cesar Faison, who, of course, was Radu in Subspecies.
Yep. I do I have the daytime fans and then the late night ones. And sometimes the two meet, and here you are.
There I am, both. Guys, I want to thank you all so much for coming in, and Jose for making a film that made this possible. Hopefully, I get you back here for the next film, because this was fantastic. You guys all were amazing in this. I think that Jose, like, if there ever was a film that I feel people are going to look at, okay, here's a guy to look at. Here's this next level. This is it, man. I cannot like say anything like. I was really, really blown away by Doug's performance, by Denice in the film, who I didn't recognize immediately, but the eyes gave it away because she had the nun. I'm like, is that Denice? I'm like, oh my god, it's Denice Duff. and like just hearing the score and just the subtle way that you work things in, it was just a group effort, and you were quite the maestro. So thank you guys so much, and thanks for joining me here in the Call to Cinema.
Thank you
bud.
so
Pleasure,
much.
Aaron. Thank you.
I do want to
Petty
mention
kitty
real
cat
quick
for-
the movies. The movie's on VOD, and it is getting and we finally got the date. So I can let everybody know we got the release date for the DVD is January 9th, 2024. So it'll get a physical media release, which I'm very excited about. And those who are anti-streaming will now be able to check it out physically.
I'll be to buy in Canada.
Awesome.